I just be coolin' with my brothers. Bullshit, now I'm arguing with my baby mother. Wonder why my niggas here now they hate each other. Cause they be beefing with they bitches all night.
What up, it's your boy Bobby Crillz, and right now you're tuned into the Heart of the City podcast live from the Ambiance studio, and today I'm sitting here with a special guest. This is somebody that I've known going on about 20 years now. I met him right after high school in Middlesex County College. We was sitting there in the student center. I don't even think we was doing work. We was just out there rapping. And I seen this guy's talent from when he was just starting. Well, I don't want to say just starting because we're going to get into that in the podcast, but I caught him at a very early point in his life, and he became an instrumental part of my life during that time too. So now we're going on close to 20 years of friendship. Jeez. I've seen this dude grind, and he's been all over the place. MTV, just doing shows all over the place, rocking out. Everybody knows this is one of the best entertainers that I know for sure. Every time he gets on stage, he rocks the crowd, and everybody's dancing, having a good time, just enjoying it. This guy embodies hip-hop, you know what I mean? So you guys don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my man D-Roy. D-Roy, what up?
What's going on? It's your boy D-Roy, man.
Welcome to the podcast, baby.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being here.
It's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah, it has.
It's been, like I said, we've known each other since about 06. I want to say 05, 06. Middlesex County College. 05, and we didn't do shit, did we?
No, we didn't. We really didn't. We didn't. I met you, and then we was outside, it was in the cafeteria area. Yeah. And it was had me in the cypher, so it was like...
Tell me that shit wasn't lit, though, man.
It was crazy. That was a different time. That was just a different time, yo.
I've literally witnessed him sitting in a cypher. I'm talking about the dean from the school out there. Yeah. Remember the dean was fucking with us? Yeah. And D-Roy just entertaining a crowd, bro, like just live in person. And that shit is... It was beautiful. We was all hopping in ciphers, and everybody was like.
Matter of fact, big shout out to the dean. She's the real reason why I actually dropped out of college.
Really?
Yeah, the dean told me don't come back, and not because I was like being a menace. Yeah. She told me not come back because she was like, one day it was like 100 people on the cipher. This is no lie. Yeah. It's like 100 people on the cipher. It was like a crazy battle. I think this battle went on for like 2 hours. Jesus. Like everybody was out there.
Yeah.
The dude that used to call himself Big Pun.
Pun, yeah. Shout out to Pun, man.
I don't even know where I haven't seen him.
That was my brother right there.
Yeah, man, it was him. I even think 6'4" was out there. It was just mad people, Cypher, KM, different people. And she goes through the crowd. She comes up to me. She goes like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm trying to get an education. She's like, "Nah, like, why are you here for real?" She said, "You got talent." She said, "If I was you, I wouldn't come here. Yeah, I would pursue my dream." And when she did that, I didn't look back. I didn't look back. I remember getting money, saving up money, and my mother was like, "Oh, you gonna go back to college?" And I said, "Nah, I'm going to buy a keyboard." That's what I did.
Is that when you got the Phantom?
Yeah, that's when I got the Triton Phantom.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I remember
you were making beats at the time too.
Yeah,
yeah.
So like that pushed me to do that because it was like if my dean of the school is telling me I have to be here because she feels like I'm so talented, I was like, why? And it didn't help. Like,
how long did you last?
College dropout and that whole era with Kanye West.
And Kanye was fucking us all up.
Yeah, you're right.
Kanye had everybody out there like, I don't got to go to college.
I was bump that. I'm gonna be a producer. I'm about to make beats for everybody. Like,
you know, it's funny. One of my close friends, J.I., he dropped out of college. He was in his senior year. Yeah. And he balls to the walls, bro. He put it all on the line for music. You know what I mean? And,
I think we all did it right now.
And we're still grinding to this day, but just the college dropout was like the inspiration.
That was it.
That was
shout
definitely
out to you, Kanye. You got us
shout out to
together.
Ye, man. He got us all out there in college. Like, man, fuck this school.
Yeah, word
But
up.
that's
and I
good.
went to
So
school for music too. That's the crazy thing. I went to college for music.
I know that you got a deep history in music too, right? Because you know music from a church level too, right?
Yeah.
I feel like all my friends that are very musically inclined, you being one of them, always have that foundation in church, and church always brings out the real musicians. And you look at Kanye. Yeah. I mean, he dropped the gospel album and he broke records in every category there. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, but he has the church background.
Yeah. For me, I played. I never had lessons.
Okay.
Like, I was playing the drums since I was 4 years old.
And you just learned on the fly as just
I actually learned on the fly. So what happened was one of the guys didn't come in because my father, he was a preacher.
Yeah.
And one guy just didn't come in. He was a musician. He was late.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't coming in or whatever the case was. And something just, I don't know if it was the spirit. I don't know. I can't tell you, but something like jumped to me. It was like, yo, just hop on the drums. Just do it. And I hopped on and it just...
And you freestyled it like that?
And it just happened. I never had lessons. And then I just kept watching other people play the drums. And I would just imitate what they was on. All the guys I was playing for my dad at that time, they was playing for HOTC and different things. Cause
professional musicians.
Yeah, because musicians back then in the 90s, they would go from church to a club gig. So musicians at that time were like, well, that's why gospel in the 90s kind of sound like R&B. Yeah. Because it was the same type of musicians. They were
same guys making the music.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So sometimes they would come in and, they play a gospel song, but I remember my mom singing the gospel song and he's playing the Game Boy. He's playing that while it's a gospel song. It matched up. Oh, he played Biggie Smalls. He playing Biggie Smalls, and nobody knows he's playing Biggie Smalls, but he's playing it during a gospel song.
Really getting into it.
It used to be. That was some fun time.
So you picked up drumming on the fly in church and stuff like that. Any other instruments you play?
A little bit of keyboard. Okay. I would have played organ if I stuck to it, but it was more drums.
The guys in the church that play the keyboards, man, they something else.
Yeah, man, they was different, man. And the guys, like I said, the guys I was around, they were so talented and you know what I mean? It was just it was just an era. It was an era of hip hop. I was around the 90s.
What age were you about?
When I was learning all of this stuff.
When you hopped on the drum set.
4.
He was 4 years old hopping on the drum set in church, man.
4. By the time I really got it, I was about 5, 6. By the time I was about 8 years old,
you was drumming.
I was playing with some of the best musicians that are out now. Shout out to somebody like Corey Henry and different people
Oh wow.
Those are big musicians now. So I played with a lot of guys.
Where's your home church?
It was in Brooklyn, Buffalo, Rochester.
Okay.
And that's my father's church was originally.
Okay.
Now I go to a church in Zoe Ministries. That's in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I still dibble dabble in that.
Okay. You can't. That's in you. That's in your blood.
It's in me. It's always
in your blood. Yeah. And God is good always. So
God is always good.
So I want to get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast. Normally, this is what I do. I'd like to get a little information about the guest, kind of understand who you are, how you became who you are.
Yes, that was a 40.
See, we holy, but we ain't perfect. You know what I mean? I feel you. But I want to get into your background a little bit. So I want to know your heritage. What was your mom? What was your pops? How were you raised? You know what I mean?
Well, big church background. So my father came up. He's from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
My mother was born in Brooklyn, but she was really raised in New Jersey. Because that's my grandfather came out on this side of the world. They met, of course. Boom, bow, bow. I came along. They got married.
What's your heritage?
I found out, actually, when my father passed away, that I had Jamaican, so I'm black and Jamaican. I didn't know that at the time. Yeah. Actually, my cousin, so at my father's funeral, I found out from one of my cousins, because he was Jamaican.
Yeah.
And, one of my aunties was like, "You don't know your roots, boy. You don't know your roots." And I'm like, "No, I don't know my roots. Why are you coming at me so hard? I don't know." It's like, "You don't know your roots. You're from the island." They was coming at me. But, I found out later on in life, way later, but, black and Jamaican.
Black and Jamaican?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been to Jamaica. Jamaica's a beautiful country too.
Yeah, never been. I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta go there.
I gotta go.
That shit banging. I fell in love with jerk chicken over there, the oxtail.
Oh, I definitely. But here's the crazy thing. Like the funny thing about it is, even when I came from Brooklyn, I came to Jersey. A lot of my friends that I was meeting, a lot of people I was connected to, was always West Indian. I never understood like why we always.
There's
like, you know, it's like wow. Like, even when I lived in Brooklyn, we lived on East 58th Street, right? And there was our landlords. They were called the Gales. They were called the Gales.
Yeah.
And they was loud. Music be bumping. Like the subwoofer be like shaking the toilet.
Is that where you got the beatboxing from?
No, actually, believe it or not. So when I was learning how to play drums, when I was learning how to play drums, I wanted to get it so bad, but I didn't have a drum set. Yeah. Right. So I would just. So I was always trying.
And that was like in your head.
It was drums. It was always beats going on in my head. Yeah. Always, even to this day, it's like I always have like beats going on in my head. It's like a constant beat, always in my head. Like, I don't know. It's weird. You
know what's crazy? I see you tap into that all the time too. Because every time I see you perform, right, it's like I be chilling with him right before he's about to perform. Everything's chill. Everything's cool. But then he gets on stage. And it's like a switch. It literally is like a switch, and you go into performer mode, and you tap into something in your it's in your subconscious. It's there. Yes. It's a beautiful thing to see. If you guys never seen D-Boy perform, I'm telling you, he's great. He's incredible at what he does, and watching him tap into that muse is crazy, bro.
Yeah, I think it's like what it is when I used to like watch the guys before I would really get on the set and do my thing. Yeah, I'm just watching like. I'm really like studying, but everything slows down for me. It's like slow mode. So like
Nick Cannon and Drumline.
Yeah, it's the same thing type of thing. So it's like I see it and I'm like, okay, I'm about to hit the beat there and I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna switch it up and do it right here. Like so when I was beatboxing, I didn't even know I was beatboxing. I was just trying to imitate what they was doing, but I never had a drum set at home. You know, I live in Brooklyn and you have a drum set. We ain't living like a two-bedroom apartment.
Shit tight.
Ain't nothing going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so when I would hear like them do that, I would just imitate it all the time. And then one time somebody was like, "Oh, you know, you beatboxing." You know, I didn't pay no mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just was like, whatever. I make beats. My mom played gospel songs all the time. Yeah. And I just was like, you know, whatever. Like, you know, and I would imitate it all the time. And like I said, I never thought it was a talent. I didn't even know what I was doing was a talent until I got to Jersey, and then somebody came to challenge me.
Okay, so we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into all that. So you were you have Jamaican heritage. Mom and pops from Brooklyn. Where were you born? You were born in Brooklyn?
I was born in Brooklyn.
You know the hospital?
Yeah, I was born in Brookdale Hospital.
Okay. So you were born in Brooklyn, and then where were you raised?
Canarsie.
So when did you make that transition from Brooklyn to Jersey?
So around 11, 12, my mother moved back over here. Fortunately, me and my mom and my dad didn't make it. So, you know, like, you know, so we moved to Jersey. So I was with my grandfather and so we came to Jersey.
What part of Jersey?
We was in Mattawan.
Mattawan?
Yeah.
Okay.
We was in Mattawan. And then lived there. Went to some middle school. Then it was a time where it was like I thought I was gonna go back to Brooklyn. Yeah, it didn't happen. So then, of course, middle school, going into high school. So that by the time I got to like middle school, that was kind of beatboxing. But like I said, I didn't know it was talent.
You weren't really tapping into it yet.
I didn't tap into it until 8th grade.
Yeah,
like I was 13.
What was the occasion?
I was just like, cats was just like, yo. You know how to kind of make a beat. Do a beat. So I'm just doing a beat.
Cats was rapping and shit? Freestyle?
No, Cats actually wasn't rapping that. Like, everybody was just like, let me just hear something. So I just did like old school beats. Like, not thinking nothing of it. Like, going like...
Mario Brothers and shit,
Like, things like that. And then it was just like... So one cat comes over one day and he's like, yeah, that's cool, but that's whack. I'm like... What? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yeah, what you doing is cool. That's regular. Like, you gotta step it up. That ain't impressing nobody. You doing some old school beats. Yeah. So, me, I'm the type of person like you challenge me like that. I'm gonna go in. I'm like, you're not about to talk
do that.
To me
yeah. You always had that competitive in you?
Yeah. And I played basketball, so.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did travel ball.
AAU and stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Like,
this is news to me too. I played some ball.
Yeah, I played travel ball. I was on the Tomahawks, matter of fact.
Tomahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Madawan?
Nah, they was actually a travel team. I don't know where the
real
location was,
yeah.
but they used to train us like crazy.
Yeah.
Bro. Like we used to do like suicides, like we were going to college.
Yeah.
Like
AAU and travel was no joke though.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
and I was always into basketball. Outside of, rapping and beatboxing, I was always into. I was a basketball
fanatic.
Like,
yeah,
I had cards. The whole.
So you was going to the NBA.
I was in. I could tell you everybody on every team.
That whole era, right?
Yeah, I could be like, no, that's John Paxton. Like I name people like on the Bulls, like from like '92. Like I was really into that. So me being into basketball gave me the competitive spirit. One of my uncles on my father's side, he's always been a coach. So like, he always was like drilling us like just to be competitive. Everything was competitive.
Game too, right?
Yeah, he was always
taught you the game.
Yeah, it taught me the game, but it was always competitive. Everything was competitive.
You had to win.
I had to win. Gotta win. You can't lose. Get up, keep doing it, keep trying. Like so it's like, and because I was in like organized ball, it kind of gave me that. That's what kind of started that switch. Yeah, I was a point guard. I was short, but I was like,
you was running shit though.
But I'm running. I'm like, nah, I'm about to cross you up, and then I can dribble real low and like. Cats be mad tall. We
gotta get on the court one day. We gotta do like an ambiance barbecue with a 3-on-3.
I'm with that. A lot of cats on the
Let's tell Rob. Let's tell Flyboy.
A lot of people never see me ball. Only the people that know, they know. But there's some people that they know.
I was more of a wing. I was a shooter.
Really?
I was a shooter. Yeah. I had a little handle. I could handle the ball, but I wasn't like a point guard.
Yeah, my shot was from the side, and also it's so crazy. Like I was really into ball. I actually played for high school and all that. Yeah. But it was the thing that kind of slowed me up with it. It was my eyes. You know what I'm saying? We'll get into that too. Like my eyes kind of.
All right, so look, that's actually a good segue to my next question. Yeah. So my next question was, you left Brooklyn, you got to Madawan, Jersey around 11, 12. Transitioned into high school, 8th grade. You were already experimenting with the beatboxing.
Yeah, and I was doing, I was heavy into sports at the time as well.
So who were you in high school? It sounds like you were an athlete.
Yeah, I was an athlete, but it was like I wasn't known for being an athlete.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like it was like, all right, boy, the ball, kind of nice, but that's like even when I was on the team. Beatboxing was always outshining anything I did, so it was like
you'd be on the bus home from the games beatboxing.
I'd be like, it'd be like, oh boy. So here's the thing. So when the guy challenged me in 8th grade, no lie, I had like a little boom box or whatever.
Yeah.
So I used to put the headphones on, and like DJ Cool Red Alert would come on at late night. You know what I'm saying? Kiss FM was playing. This is what I'm saying. So. And then Flex was like really like scratching. He was doing all that.
Flex was like DJing for real, yeah.
No Flex. There's that. Yeah.
No Flex. Yeah. I remember that.
So I'm listening to like the scratches and the way this song would cut into that song, and I would go to sleep. No lie.
Yeah.
Every day that summer.
Just sleep and listen to the DJs.
I would sleep and just listen to the DJs only after like 11:30, 12, because that's when they really go in. Because there's no hose bar, there's no like you gotta play the song all the way to the end.
They got the leash off.
Yeah, they just go. They would just go buck nuts. So I would go up there and listen to how they scratch and blah 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 blah. So when I went back and I got to high school, I came up to this kid and I'm hitting him with all
that same kid?
The same kid.
Oh, so you let time pass?
No, like it was just the summer. I only had the summer to get this right. Okay. So like let's say 8th grade, by 9th grade. Oh yeah. After that summer,
you came back on some shit.
I came back with like hella beats.
Yeah.
Like hey, 5 beats.
So you hit him with it? Yeah.
Ho.
Hey.
So I'm doing all of this new stuff.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't doing because I didn't discover that yet. But I was hitting it with some shit.
So what did he say at this point?
So this is like 2000, 2001. So I'm hitting them with all the joints, you know,
the new shit that's out, yeah.
I'm hitting them with everything. So he's like, oh, you stepped it up. And then from there, it was like, these nights. But then what happened was, Cats was like, bet you can't do this. So I know how to do that. So if I didn't know the song, I would go home, learn it, listen for the song, learn the song. Then I would come back and beatbox. And then just to be sharp on my skills, you know, I used to make my own mixtapes.
Yeah.
So I used to make my own mixtapes. Like, I had this boombox thing, like, we could record. Yeah. Remember how you could record off the radio? So I used to record, have it low, record it, hope nobody busts in my room and mess up the
yeah.
So, I was listening to mixtapes and listening to different mixes, and I'd come in every day and just beatbox, whatever anybody requested. I mean, like the school.
So you just started going hand as a freshman?
As a freshman. So I got known as...
Your reputation grew pretty quickly for that, didn't it?
And then I did a battle in 10th grade. There was another kid that thought he could beatbox. And
it was a beatbox battle?
It was a beatbox battle.
Oh, that's crazy.
And believe it or not...
you got footage of that?
I don't. This was 2002. Wow. So I don't even think... Maybe the school has it?
That's crazy.
So
what high school was it, by the way?
It was Old Bridge High School.
Old Bridge High School? Okay.
Yeah. Big shout out, man, D-Ave.
D-Ave?
Yeah,
I remember him.
My godbrother.
Yeah, that's dope.
So he...
so you come from that cloth. That's the... that's how you and Rock are kind of tight, right?
Well, I'm gonna get into that too.
All right, so this is
it's like all
this
that.
Is the C-Pole, like that whole gang of people, right?
Yeah.
All right, so previously on one of my podcasts, I had Rockstar on the podcast, and we were talking about his come up and stuff like that, and the people that kind of molded him. This is the same cloth. I didn't know that you guys were in that same space at that time because I met you. Matter of fact, I met both you and Rock around the same time.
Yeah, but we was in two different.
But it was two different ways I met y'all, so I couldn't see that connection. I always knew you were like Madawan, but I didn't realize how close it was to Old Bridge, and it is very close to Old Bridge. And you went to Old Bridge High School. All right, so this is about to get good. This is about to be a lot of history in here.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's dive into it. So high school, the beatboxing, freshman.
Yeah.
When did you start making music?
All right. So just a few tracks so I can get that story out of my head.
Yeah.
I did a beatbox battle, beat this kid. And after I beat him in the beatbox battle,
it was over. It was
like, everybody was like, yo, boys,
ain't like fucking with him.
He's the beatbox guy. And, you know, like I wanted to do basketball, but it's like, it was just like, yo, beatbox.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
It's like your life was forcing you to be the entertainer.
I was always entertaining because I played drums, so even when I didn't realize I was always performing, because when you're playing drums at church, you're always performing. You just never like look at it like that. You're always performing. Like, you know, it is what it is.
That sharpens your skills.
It sharpens your skills. You're just more aware. You just know how to read the crowd differently.
Yeah.
You know, so and stops and goes and all of that. Even with preachers, you follow and they lead. Like, when they be like, like all of that is like MC stuff.
Yeah.
So in a different run.
So let's get into the balling. You was balling. You said you had a little issue with your eyes.
Yeah.
Is that what stopped you from really going hard with the ball too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I know it has to be a combination of the beatbox and the musical talent, and then you said that the vision was a little bit of
what happened was wanted to, you know, take it all the way with basketball at first. That was always the first thing I wanted to do.
That was your love.
That was one of the loves. Outside of music, I always loved music, but I was like, really like, I wanted to be a baller, right? So, you know, I'm balling, but it was like my eyes, I have a disease, it's called Stargardt's disease. At the time, I didn't know.
What's it called?
Stargardt's.
Stargardt's?
Stargardt's disease.
That's
one out of...
I don't even know what that is.
1 out of 20,000 African Americans have it in America and don't even know it.
Okay.
What Stargardt's disease is it deteriorates the retina. So it deteriorates the focus. So it's like I see you, but I see your silhouette. So it's like sometimes, depending on, like I know you because your voice and the way your posture and everything has always been the same. So when I see Bobby Crillz, I'm looking at his posture and the way he talks, his face comes to life.
Yeah.
Because Stargardt disease makes it blurry. It's almost like having a smudge on the camera.
Yeah.
And it's like you take a picture, it looks clear, but the face is blurry. You ever seen like a nice picture, but it's like, dang, it's mad blurry. I can't really see the details.
Yeah.
That's what Stargardt disease does. So it like starts.
Now, do you have like, can you do like contacts or something? Or
no, it doesn't.
It's just nothing really.
No.
To
it's
do.
one of those things. It's like it's either you go blind or you don't. So it's either you legally blind, which I am, which you get 50% of your vision, or you go totally blind. There's no in between.
Oh wow!
So like when I was diagnosed, I was 20 years old. Because when I was in high school, I didn't know. But the reason I started,
when did you realize that was becoming
playing basketball?
Okay.
We was in practice. Guys passed me the ball, and I just couldn't. I couldn't determine how fast the ball was coming. So when he threw it, bounced off my chest. It was, oh, you got butterfingers, you know. And it was like, nah. And I knew something was wrong. But then, like when I was taking tests, I would read stuff and like things would be missing, paragraphs would be missing. And
wow, that's what this was really doing. Some
like it was really,
it was really causing some issues.
It was really causing some issues, even like in my schooling. So it was like, so what happened was, I'll tell you a really crazy story. So boom, how I really found out was, I had a job. It's not a funny, but it's a funny. So I had a job at Johnson & Johnson, right? I'm like, this is my way into the corporate world, right? I'm going to be the mail boy. I'm going to move my way up the ladder.
You're going to be the CEO by the time you're done.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need a raise like Chris Rock in Boomerang.
Yeah.
So, so I'm in the mail room. This is my first week, bro. It's my first week. I ain't been there 2 weeks. I ain't had a real lunch break.
Yeah.
Come in, I'm in charge of all the mail. Get there at 6 o'clock. I have to have all the mail for the lawyer's office in Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, so
one
this
of
is
the
a
biggest companies in the world.
Fortune 500.
Fortune 500. I'm in the mail room. They depend on me to get the mail to the right person, because if not,
it's communication, it's data, it's stuff there. You're important.
I jack up the whole floor in the lawyer's office. Mr. Smith got Mr. John's mail. Mr. John got Mr. Smith. I gave everybody
the wrong shit.
The wrong freaking mail.
Was that because of the vision?
It was because of my vision. Because what I saw, it was not what it was.
So what happened?
I get called in to the main office in Johnson & Johnson. And she said either you have bad vision or you really don't want to work here. She said, I'm just going to say you have really bad vision, because nobody in the history of the mailroom has ever jacked up
that bad.
That bad. She's like, you jacked the whole floor up.
And that's when you got diagnosed?
And she said, you know what I'm going to do? She said, I don't believe that you were trying to sabotage Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm going to send you to a specialist.
Hold on. Before we get into that specialist story, hold the thought. We got to take a break real quick. I got to pay the bills. But this is hilarious. The way you found out is hilarious. We're going to get right back to it, honestly. So before the break, we were talking about Johnson & Johnson in the mailroom. So what happened?
I got fired.
You got fired. Wait. All right. So she said, All right. So she told you. She said, I'm gonna assume you're not trying to sabotage Johnson & Johnson. So what am I do? This is what she do.
She sent me to a specialist.
Okay.
And still got fired. But
you got fired
that day.
Because of that situation?
Yeah.
So when she sent you to the specialist, what did the specialist?
She sent me a specialist, but I still got fired because I just jacked the mail up.
It was
bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Jesus Christ! You're living to tell the story. Johnson, you're gonna regret that shit one day. My man gonna.
I'm not mad. Yo, Johnson did me a good service. Thank you so much.
No, but at least you got to identify what the issue was.
Yeah,
that probably brought a lot of clarity into your.
It started to so I went to a specialist, and I remember going to the first doctor, and the doctor was like, "Damn." No lie, this is like my
That's what he said, damn.
Yeah, like, he looked at my eyes, like, they do the x-ray. They got the thing on your eye, they got the blower that goes, like it's going to blow your eyeball out. And I was like, he took an x-ray in my eye. He's like, damn. And my mom said,
what the fuck does that mean?
What is that? He's like, I don't know what this is. She was like,
You a doctor.
She was like, he's like, yeah, but I've never seen this one before. So I'm like, what the hell? I got some X-Men type shit going on in my eyeball. Like, so we go to another specialist and another one. We went to about like 5 specialists.
Wow.
And nobody could identify what I had because they was like, it's just different. So then we finally got to this doctor, and Dr. Silverberg, and he was like, you have Stargardt's disease. He said, what you have is called Stargardt's. It's a rare disease. Mom was like, oh, Lord Jesus,
Yeah, she started tripping.
She's like, what's Stargardt? Oh, Jesus, my baby. Oh, Lord, help me. Please take me. Like, I'm like, I'm like, wait, hold up. We don't even know.
She heard disease and it was
over. Oh, God, help me, Lord Jesus, help me.
Shout out to Mom, dude.
Yeah, shout out to Moms. My father was there, so he has like this blank face.
He don't know what to say.
Because nobody knows what this is. Like, you just hear something disease. Anything with the disease at the end, it just sounds real bad. Like, it's over. Now, mind you, I'm like,
yo, you thinking you about to die?
I'm thinking it's over, right? I'm 20 years old. Like, I'm only 20 at this point. So it's like, what the hell? What the hell is this?
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
If I even have a life after this, right? So he's just like, well, he's like, he's like, good news, bad news. I'm like, he's like, good news is you might have half of your vision. I'm like, that's the good.
You might have half of your vision?
Yeah. And then the bad news is he was like, you can go totally blind. He was like, well, what we can do is we can get you ready to we can get you ready for being blind. And they was like, oh, we can get seeing eye dog. And then they were trying to give me, now this is another doctor. He was like, we can get you a seeing eye dog. We can get you to learn Braille. I was like, but I got a new car. At the time I had this Maxim. I just picked it up.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, you're going to have to give that up. You're going to have to quit your job. He was like, you might as well just get ready. Let's start preparing you to just be blind. And so that ain't sit right with me.
No, not at all.
And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And so I kept driving. I kept forcing myself to just do stuff. And then I was just doing wild stuff, like driving with shades on. Like, that's how, like, the shades.
Yeah. Because you always do have shades on.
Yeah, today I don't, but usually I always had shades on or something like that. And that pushed that agenda. Like, dude was like, oh, yeah, he think he cool. And it really wasn't that. It was, honestly, when I was in the clubs, the LED lights used to
fuck with you a little bit?
Yeah, my eyes, so I always had shades on.
Makes sense.
To kind of block.
To offset that.
Yeah, and then people would take pictures because of who I was with, like brushing them. But yeah, like that's another reason why I had shades on, because of my eyes, my vision.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't know that. They just thought that was just too cool for school.
Yeah.
But
but hearing this now, man, like I mean, I've seen you in all this time, so I met you around that time in your life.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. We're gonna take a break real quick. Let me figure this out. All right, so before we had to take that quick technical difficulty break. We were talking about the mailroom situation.
Yeah.
At the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
And what happened there, and then
let me go.
They let you go. Yeah. But it led to you finding out what was the issue, which was causing a lot of problems in your life.
Well, I don't want to say problems in my life. I just want to say it was it was a hiccup in my life, right? It was one of those things where it was like, I didn't know which way it was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to be totally blind. I didn't know if I was going to be legally blind. I didn't even know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, I didn't know what that meant. I was just like, what the hell is this? Yeah. Right? So it was something I had to adapt to, but I just remember just pushing myself to be like, nah, I'm not going to be.
This ain't it.
I'm not going to be this crippled guy like, dang, remember Doug used to be able to, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He used to be able to see, like.
So you never let it be your handicap?
Nah, I actually took it as
a
gift.
Yeah.
I took it as a gift, like almost like a superhero.
Yeah.
So I just kind of looked at it like, all right, well, if you're saying, I got 2 years to see, which they told me. It was like either it can go left or right. Either you're gonna go blind or you're gonna be legally blind. But you only got 2 years. And I pushed hard them 2 years. That in them 2 years is the time I made my first album.
Yeah.
Live Later, Part 1. And a lot happened. And then I got with David, and then before I knew it, I was on tour. So I was.
And this is 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
Very young.
So by the time I was 22, I was already on tour.
Yeah.
So like it was just like.
So there's a lot that we got to get into now because the amount of movement and grinding that you put in with music has been incredible.
But I will say this: that was the battery
in your back.
Yeah, that made me go, can't nobody stop me now. Because if I could beat this, when I get on stage, I'm rapping for if this is my last time. So that's why I always went wild. That's why when people saw me in those times when I was doing shows around those times, I was going hard because I just didn't know if that was going to be my last time. Seeing this, I wanted to see the success.
Yeah.
Wow, I could still kind of see.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see it. So it was like, I was going crazy.
So let's talk about that time period from when you found out to all the stuff you accomplished in that 2 years.
Yeah.
So you were fired from Johnson & Johnson. That was the battery in the backbone at that point. It had to be.
That was one of the batteries.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that was I want to say that was the discovery, right?
Yeah.
So that was the discovery of what do I have, which was called Stargardt disease, which deteriorates the retina, and it can make you blind or legally blind, right? Bam. And so once I found that out, and everything else. And I didn't know this in college. I didn't even know this because I didn't have it. Or maybe I did have it when I met you in college.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it was. At that time, I was still in discovery mode.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
We were 18 at that time.
Yeah, I didn't know.
18.
And I still
so you discovered it at 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I met you when I was like 18, 19.
Yeah. We was like freshmen in college.
We was kids, fresh out of high school.
Fresh out of high school. Like, I didn't know this is what I was dealing with. I just thought I was dyslexic. For a long time, I thought I was dyslexic, but I wasn't dyslexic. I just had this disease that even the doctors didn't know what the hell I had, right?
Yeah.
So I even remember, even a funny story, then with my eyes, there was something called stem cell research, which is really big now.
Yeah, that's where they go back into the umbilical.
So they put a needle in you, and the cells go, and they really be... Anything you have missing, it'll just
regenerate. Yeah.
At that time,
when
they told me at 20 years old, and this was fresh. I'm talking about this is fresh.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody knows what stem cell. They're like, yo, we want to try this out on you.
Perfect situation.
I'm like, hell no, because I was like, yeah, but what if I have a third eyeball on the top of my head?
Yeah.
Like what if it grows? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to think like, what if I get an eyeball?
All of a sudden, I got 11 fingers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Like, so I didn't know what it was. I didn't take it. And for them, it was an experiment because I was so young, and a lot of people my age at that time didn't have this disease. Like, people usually don't start their eyes. People usually don't start losing their vision until they're in their upper 40s, maybe 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's when you start looking at your eyes and your health and
deterioration.
You know what I'm saying? This was like some Ray Charles shit that was happening to me. So it was like, yo, what is it?
It was fast.
It was fast. It happened really fast. It was like I had 20/20 vision before this.
Yeah.
I had perfect vision. So to be able to see all your life and then somebody tell that you might not be able to see anything ever again, was a little spooky. I'm not gonna sit here and hold you, but the thing is, I always kept my mind like, you know, prayer and faith and being like, nah, this ain't gonna happen to me. Like I'm gonna go off. I think that's really, you know, God preserved me in a certain type of way to not just go through it, but just, you know, be able right now to even tell the story. So I believe that's really what I went through.
And here we are, what, 20 or close to 20 years later. Right?
Yeah, I can still see half.
You driving, right?
Still driving.
Still driving, still moving, still shaking.
Doing whatever I want to do.
That's a rare case, man.
It's a blessing.
That speaks to your determination, your ambition, and stuff like that. Man.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how much of a fighter he is, a competitor, to be able to push through some of those I guess you could say barriers.
Yeah, that was a little. It was a small milestone.
Yeah.
You know
so,
I mean?
but you pushed through, and
some people I've heard when I did the research, like committed, you know, took themselves out of there, didn't want to live anymore, or you know, just kind of really gave up on life. Like because like when you feel like, dang, I'm not gonna be able to see or drive. You know, when like a doctor's telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't. They're not telling you anything you can do. They're telling you everything that you cannot do, which you used to do. It can be a little depressing. Like, you hear that, like, before you know it, you can be on a pill somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, being like, I could have been like, nah, I don't want to go to the studio. I could have been like, I don't want to write no more. I'm not in the mood. Yeah. I could have got like in a real dark space. I just took that energy and was like, I'm gonna put it all into music. Man. Yeah. I'm gonna make more beats. All that.
So let's talk about some of the successes, man. You've been on tour.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that tour. How'd that come about?
All right, so I'm gonna bring you back. So check it. So how I got on tour. So basically, let's go back to how I met David.
Okay, so we're talking about David Rush here.
Yeah.
Formerly what was his name?
Boss.
Young Boss.
So, I met Rush in 05, 06.
Shout out to Rush.
Shout out to Rush. Shout out to you.
Straight legend on here.
So, when I met him, funny story. So, we was in Amboy, believe it or not, we shooting a video. He wasn't on the song, but he was at the video shoot.
Okay.
This is when I was like a part of Make a Move Records. And,
Make a Move.
Yeah.
This is El Lancer.
Yeah.
KM. Okay. So shout out to them cats.
Okay. So I was one of the main producers on there, and I was one of the artists. And we was there, we was on the set. You know, everybody's looking cool. Everybody had the long ass chains on and all that, right? So I see Rush, he's chilling on this big old truck, and I had a shirt, and it said Prince of the Beatbox. Yeah. Because at that point, I was like calling myself the Prince of the Beatbox and everything. So he sees my shirt, and he goes, "Oh, you beatbox right now." And that's when, like, when you got put on the spot, you really had to like show who you was. You couldn't do none of this stuff you could do now and get away with it and rap, but you can't rap. It was like when somebody challenged you back then, if you rap, you rap. If you beatbox, you beatbox. Whatever you did, and you showcased it, you better do it right then and there. Well, because that's how you got clout. There was no such thing as internet and somebody with a camera on you.
Nah, it was actually ciphers, man. We was like,
it was ciphers. That was your internet. That was the
ciphers. And this is what I want to. This is kind of a point I want to drive home. That it's such a different. It's a different time now, because now anybody could really be like, "Yeah, I rap," and they don't really gotta prove it. Like, we literally had to sit there and prove it in front of people. Strangers, people you don't know, that are quick to tell you that you ass if you was ass. So you didn't want to be ass. You know what I mean? So
you didn't want to be that guy.
You didn't want to be the ass guy. You know what I mean? And honestly, everybody rose to the occasion, man. You know how many ciphers I've been in with D-Roy, bro? It's crazy, bro.
A
lot, bro.
And I was in a lot of ciphers. Even if I didn't want to be in them. Because
you got dragged in.
Because I'm the beatboxer.
Yeah, and so you got dragged in.
So if
you
there
couldn't
was
even
no
walk
beat,
by, yo. If we was having a cipher and he's walking by, yo, D-Roy, come here.
We need a beat. We need 5 beats. No, they mean 500 beats, because I was beatboxing for 2 hours. Nobody got me no water. Shout out to the people that didn't give me no water. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got no break. Niggas would go to the bathroom, come back. I'm still beatboxing. Like, it was like, it was a machine. But you know what? I like them times, because it really
sharpens
helped.
you, man. It sharpens you.
It was like boot camp.
And it's like,
Low key, it was like boot camp.
It boosts your confidence too, because if you were to sit there and jump in the cipher and you get that ugly face, you like, all right, I did my job.
These are ciphers where like cats would be rapping so hard they had that white spit.
Oh, nasty!
Just like everybody's out there sweating. Like nobody's like the book bag. If you had a black book, you had a white tee.
Oh yeah,
the book bag strapped on your arm still because like
it was non-stop, bro.
It was really like them ciphers was really intense. I don't think they understand.
Nah, they don't. I wish we had some footage of it because it was special, man. It was special.
It wasn't even that. It was like people didn't even want to put their picture on MySpace at the time. We was doing what we was doing.
And you think about all the cats that we was with in those ciphers, man. Every single one of them went on to do something with it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and they were very talented. Every one of them was very talented, bro. And I still talk to a lot of them.
I met Justin and Valentine in the cipher in New York.
I believe that. We're gonna get to that. So let's talk about David Rush.
Yeah. So
David Rush, you met David Rush.
Well, I met him. He was like, "Yo, beatbox right now." So I beatbox. You know, I gave him a little 1-2. He was like, "Ah, you kind of nice." Boom. Fast forward, I had around the time I was like 18, 19, I came up with a song. It was called Game On Lock. So we did a show in Edison. And I think it was opening up for like Total. Like, this is crazy.
Oh, some dope shit.
Yeah, like it was like some outside park fair. Total was there. David Rush. I just dropped my first album, and I printed up 5,000 copies, and I went crazy. Like, I was just like, I put them everywhere. I used to. Matter of fact, it was so intense that I used to go to Woodbridge Mall, and big shout out to Mark Nitty, and I used to see him.
He was my guest last week.
And I used to take his, man, Nitty, you know I always got love for you. But I used to take Nitty's flyers, just throw them in the garbage and just put all my flyers. I used to put all my flyers. He probably don't know. He's like, what happened to my time? It was me. But, matter of fact, it was so bad at one point that me and Nitty almost got banned from Woodbridge Mall.
Because y'all was promoting too much?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think they had a sign like if you
no
see
flyers.
Like, no, if you see these guys, watch out.
Jesus
like a wanted sign. Like
That's
one of them
crazy.
cartoon things. Like, that's how I met Nitty, because every time that he saw me, I was passing out flyers and I was passing out my CDs. And that's how but at the time I wasn't with Rush. We was just...
You was just outside.
I was just outside. I was everywhere. I was on Power DVD. I was on Smack.
I remember Power DVD.
I was on... Like, I was everywhere.
Power DVD was based out of Potters in Edison.
I didn't even know that. I just used to be everywhere. I remember going to 88 Keys, Coliseum, I just be anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere it was a cipher, anywhere it was a show.
Yeah, we was, because I was running into you everywhere. We was always on the same bill. How many times we performed together?
I can't.
Plenty of times.
I have no idea.
At least 10, 15 times on the same bill.
More than that.
And the same bill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But over the years, more than that,
Yeah.
But at that time,
that time,
it could happen within a month.
Yeah.
I could see you probably 10 times in different spots.
There was times where...
Because that's when there was a lot of shows going on in Jersey.
Showcases everywhere. There was times where I had... When I was really moving and I had a nice run, I had like 2 shows a night one time. Like, for like 2 weeks. It was like crazy. Not every day, but like for the weekend.
I even did Hummers.
Hummers, damn. That was South River, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I got a bunch of spots like that.
Jesus.
Don't even exist no more.
Nah, they're gone.
They're gone. But shout out to all them spots that we started at, because those they help. But the first place I really let me get back into that David story. But the first spot I really perfected my skills. First place I ever performed at ever in my life, for real, outside of a church setting, was the Groove Shack in New York.
Okay,
the legendary Groove Shack.
I don't know this place.
It's in Seoul, New York. It's like where like Carl Thomas and like
a bunch of people were broken,
like a lot of like R&B singers that in them early 2000s came out of.
Yeah,
you had to go to the Groove Shack.
That was the proof.
That was like, if you can sing or you
Yeah.
had some type of talent outside of power, that was like the spot. So I went there and I did a show. I was only 17.
Yeah.
Proved to myself like I could do this. Fast forward, then I went to the Pyramid, EO Dub.
EO Dub was the training camp.
That was another boot camp place.
Yeah.
Where I got my skills up and I always performed it, and it just kept me focused.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, came to Jersey and I just was like
all over the place.
Yeah, because I just had this New York mentality. I was always from New York, but it was just performing in New York first, dealing with guys who everybody was wearing a do-rag in the crowd. There's no shorties, you know.
Angry mom.
Everybody just super thugged out.
Yeah.
Nobody
And
smiles.
you gotta
nobody
win.
claps. Like the most you got back then was like if you was nice, niggas would be like, yeah.
when you get off stage,
that was it.
When you get off stage, they'll give you a pound, but they won't applaud while you.
The hardest, like
that's
they
it.
smack your hand off. Mind you, I'm skinning, probably the same size I was when I was 18. You know, they dap you all crazy. It was just like, okay, you know, but
So David Rush, the tour.
So boom,
Open up for Total.
Open up for Total. I passed out a CD. Rush gets my CD. He was like, I like that new song you did. Let me check it out. Going back. He sees my CDs all. He sees that I'm like really
You're grinding.
grinding.
You put in the legwork.
I'm putting in the legwork. You know, I'm 19.
Yeah. Got all the energy in the
I
world.
have crazy energy, right?
Yeah.
And so he listens to the CD. He hits me back. My number was on the CD. This is crazy. He calls me. He's like, yo, I think you got a nice record. I'm going to do a remix. And the song was called Game on Lock, which we did a remix to.
Yeah.
At the time that he did the remix with me, with Game on Lock, he also was putting out Go Girl.
So Go Girl, for people that don't remember or don't know, Go Girl was Young Boss's record. That was the one that put him on the map. And Pitbull jumped on that.
Yeah.
And it just took off.
Yeah.
So
he was
Go Girl.
Yeah.
Go Girl.
Yeah.
That
he was
was a hit.
promoting that Studio 9. And I remember coming to Studio 9 and coming to see him. And I wasn't even of age to get in.
Yeah.
And I remember selling my CDs out the trunk at Studio 9, and that big fight popped off, and that's when they shut Studio 9 down.
So you was there for that night?
I was selling CDs.
Jesus.
I almost got shocked with one of those Zappa things. The
tasers and shit?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And, but I made my sales, though.
Yeah.
I made my sales. I ain't care.
That's good, though. You know how hard it is to sell a CD in Jersey, bro? Because this ain't the South. It's so hard to sell CDs, because I tell you what, in my time, I've probably sold and actually got cash for it. Not close to 5,000. I'll tell you that. Because people just don't buy them, you know.
I'm gonna keep it a stack. I gave away 1,000.
Yeah.
I sold 3,500.
That's fucking amazing. So you made some bread. You made some bread. And at that time, CDs were what, $5, $10, whatever you want to charge.
$5. Sometimes I sell for $1, depending on like
take
how
whatever
I felt.
you get, honestly, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, but here's the crazy thing. I was selling my CDs and I was selling Lazy Case. See, because I was also
okay. All right. So this is all.
Now, remind you, this is all going towards how I got on tour.
Okay,
so this is all the same story. I know it sounds like I'm all over the place.
So he's mentioning a lot of heavy shit right now.
All right, so at that time.
So you went to the Studio 9.
Went to Studio 9, boom, they shut it down. Anyway.
You got in with my boss.
Yeah. We do the record.
Oh, you performed with him that night?
No. I just went to go check it out. Boom. We go to the studio, lays the record, Game on Lock, History.
From that day forward, y'all was
we
cool.
was cool. We was always cool, but that just like solidified as us as artists. The connection. So at that time, also, I'm finding out about my eyes. Because all these stories come together.
Yeah.
I had another job that I was working at, and at the time I was reading a lot of like books. I was listening to books and like empowering my mind, and doing shows and just really focusing, really like locking in. And the guy who was my boss at the time saw me reading a book. It was like the 48 Laws of Power, whatever. He was like, "We don't read books at the job." It's like.
Well, I read books, man.
I read books. What do you want me to do? And I didn't really read it. It was like I had an audio book because I couldn't read because of my eyes.
Yeah.
So I had an audio book. He fired me for listening to an audio book.
Wow. And it wasn't affecting your work.
No.
He just hating.
Shout out to that guy though. Because of you though, it pushed me. And then what happened was after that, I got with Lazy K. Shout out my cousin who put me in Lazy K because I was doing beats.
Yeah.
and I was making beats for like Max.
Max B?
Yeah.
Flex. Flex.
And then I met French Montana before he was
French Montana, yeah.
Because French Montana.
Did you meet him before the DVDs?
I met him while he was doing DVDs.
While he was doing the DVDs.
I remember the first time I met French Montana, he was picking up a check from Lazy K for like $10,000 for Cocaine City.
Cocaine City.
And I met him doing that, and I had a mixtape through Lazy K that was called Get Used to the Future. Big shout out to everybody who was on Get Used to the Future. There's a lot of New Jersey artists that was on Get Used to the Future. There's a lot of New Jersey artists that I'll put you on the Lazy K mixtapes. We ain't gonna talk about that. Anyway.
Flex a little bit, yo.
No,
shout
out to y'all, man. I love y'all, man.
Shout out to Lazy K, man. She's a legend too, you know.
Shout out to Lazy. So I was one of her head A&Rs, and I was one of the reasons why Max B came to Sugar Ray's back in 08.
Okay.
I brought Max B out here, and he brought French. Then French gave me a drop, different things. But when I was in that environment, it really, I was hustling, but that was a different type of hustle because it was like
some music biz hustle.
They was like pumping out CDs,
like it was crack.
Like it was crack.
Yeah.
It was like, I remember I didn't even have a job at the time because, like I said, I just got fired, and I was selling CDs. And I remember not paying for gas for 6 months because I used to have the D Block, I used to have Lil Wayne mixtapes, and I remember trading in the mixtapes for gas. And they would be like, "Oh my God, this is the new Wayne?"
Yeah.
And it was like, "What you mean?" I'm like, "I need $10 regular." And you know, $10 at that time could get you
half a tank. You know what I mean?
That could get you from the Bronx.
Yeah.
You go to Red Bank and come back home.
That's facts.
I
think gas was like $1 a gallon.
It was like ridiculous. I don't even remember, but it's a fantasy price at this point, right?
Yeah, it never happened again.
Yeah, never happened again. Y'all never experienced 89 regular.
Oh my
89
God.
cents regular. Like, seriously. But I was making beats and I was doing that, and I got a call from Rush. I get a call from Rush. He goes, "So what you doing?" Yeah, you know, I'm young. I'm on the streets. I'm hustling, you know. Hustling.
Yeah.
He goes, "What if I got an opportunity and you could be on tour, you could be an artist, we can really put you together." And he gave me an opportunity. Called me with an opportunity, and I took the opportunity. I actually went to the meeting, and it was all his paperwork. He had this big dinner. And he introduced me to XBMG and management. And
I remember XBG.
XBMG.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was like Rush's group. That was an umbrella, and then like 305 was over the umbrella. So it was kind of like Young Money. It was like Cash Money, Young Money. Like,
okay.
That's what that was supposed to be. So, you know, or that's how it looked. Anyway, so now I'm a part of this
executive board.
Executive board, music group.
Yeah, I remember that. Executive board.
And so now I signed this contract. Boom. And Rush was like, "Yeah, the sign is down, he's not down." So has a big dinner, we had a dinner, signed the papers. Now remind you, I'm still kind of with Make a Move, but Make a Move we were going through some like rough
internal turmoil.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of
brother
like,
shit.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
And so it was just like, where I was going was like where they were going at the time.
Completely different directions.
They was still like, let's do the hood and the shows in New York and that grungy crowd. And I was kind of like, I was moving out of that, and I was like, nah, I want to do shows.
You were
I want some women in the crowd. I got joints from females. I can't do it for these niggas. I gotta. And I started.
You were developing as an artist, and you were getting.
I saw the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I don't think they was ready to let that go. They wasn't ready to let the boom bap go.
Yeah.
I was like, let's make hits, not just some songs, some regular joints.
Showing everybody you can spit.
Yeah, I need to make songs, and I was always big on making songs, always because I'm a producer. So I always think like, they gotta make a song. Like, freestyle is great, but it's not gonna pay the bills. You gotta make a song if you really want to make it. I always had that mentality. Rush saw that, so he took me on.
How many cities was that tour?
46.
You did a 46 city tour.
Yeah, nonstop.
Oh my God! How long did that take?
No breaks.
6 months.
It took about 2.5.
2.5 months.
Yeah, it was 3. Yeah.
That means every day. Let me ask you about your life on the road, bro.
Yeah.
How did you make ends meet? Because I think this is something that's overlooked when people talk about going on tour and you're an up and coming artist. You're not really getting to the bag crazy, but you got to survive out there. How did you make your money out there? Selling merch and CDs and shit?
Selling merch. I definitely got a percentage of, like, when we, like, Rush was very graceful and giving everybody, you know, some money
to survive and live on the road.
Yeah. But, like, it was merch, mostly merch, but we definitely got paid for what we did. And before we actually went on tour, like, for real, like, moving around, we did some big shows before we went. I remember the biggest show before we went on tour was at the Verizon Center in Texas. It was in Houston, Texas. We shot to Houston, Texas. And I remember Rush going, yo, we gotta kill this show. If we kill this show, we might be on this Pitbull tour.
Yeah.
And we smacked it. I mean,
we
destroyed it. I remember doing shows with Pig. I remember opening up with LMFAO.
Oh, wow.
LMFAO was coming up at that time, and I met them in Miami, and they was slapping everybody on the ass with LMFAO stickers, and that's how they got their name out there. That's when they came over there. I'm in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with them when they was doing that. And they had these girls with them. It was called I forgot what them girls was called. But it was the bikini girls.
Okay. So with that said, we're going to take a quick break. Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to pay the bills real quick. We'll be right back. HOTC Podcast.
I'm at a point I don't need to act out of desperation when I know the intentions are evil. I've been there before, I'm keeping it real when I tell you they see through. You tell them you got it, they know that you serious, still don't believe you. Fuck it, I don't need you. I'm in my zone, bug got me tripping a little far gone. I'm chasing the vibe, I ain't making it home. Frankly, I'm tired of watching the throne. Fuck all that cool shit, I'm here for the smoke. No time for the cap and I'm grown. The haters be talking, they know that I walk at the top. I done made it my home. Look, who got the city? That's me. Y'all don't be litty like we be. Haters be all on my P. Really, who better than B? See, back to the wall, the time that I'm on. See, I ain't got time for getting along. Just give me my bag and I will be gone. Or get in my way in this song. Crillz. Who do I trust? Me. Who put this together? Me. Who ride through the weather, rough times or whatever, for worse or for better? Me. Who got my back? Me.
All right, so we're back. Before the break, we were talking about the tour. You were introduced to LMFAO.
Yeah.
I'm in Miami, bitch. They were slapping people in the ass.
I wasn't slapping nobody in the ass. They was
shot the fuck out. They were shot the fuck out. What if they had another one that was good too, besides that Miami bitch? Was it Shots? Was that them?
Shots.
That was a big record.
Party houses in the house
tonight.
Yeah.
Everybody just huge hits, bro. Huge. They probably still getting paid off that. Oh my god. Because you still hear those joints.
You still hear them.
You still hear those joints. You still hear them in the
top
gym,
40.
In the gyms. You hear that in the gym all the time.
They had like #1 top 40 joints.
Oh,
we was like the thing is, what people don't understand is, when me and Rush was out there, we wasn't on a hip hop tour. We were on a top tour. So it was like anybody who was everybody. Like I did every House of Blues in America.
Wow.
Every House of Blues. There's no House of Blues that I've never been to. I performed at every House of Blues in America.
Wow.
The first House of Blues I ever did was in LA. And the first time I was in LA, I was only there for 6 hours. I didn't even get a chance to get fat burger.
You just in and out.
I landed, changed my clothes, might have got like half a bite to eat, got on stage, and then we got back on the plane and I was in Jersey.
Wow.
I didn't even see the sunset. Like
Jesus.
I came out there, the sun was up. When I left, the sun was down.
You didn't even see it. You maybe took a taxi.
If that. And then it was like the second time I went to LA is when I really got to see LA and got the fat burger. Like really kind of
What was your favorite city to perform in? Was it a big market or was it
Houston?
Houston's kind of a big market.
The craziest crowd, if that's what you're asking, Reno, believe it or not.
Las Vegas, Nevada? Reno, Nevada?
Yeah.
What was the biggest crowd you performed in? How many people?
It was 20,000, and I think we was in Little Rock, or like we was somewhere south. Maybe it was Louisiana. I don't remember. I remember it was like a hockey stadium. It was half of a hockey stadium, and the stage wasn't that big, but I just remember.
You looked out and just saw a sea of people.
I couldn't see nobody. I remember that it was so loud. It was so loud that the first time me and Rush got on the stage, we was trying to perform, and in the middle of it, we was like, "Oh shit!" Like it was just so much energy.
You had to take that in for a second, right?
Yeah, we both had to stop. It was like,
just look at it, right? Like, fuck, I'm on this stage.
It was like, put your hands up, and you just heard.
That's crazy.
Like you heard the hands go up. You heard the roar, and the floor was shaking. I remember the floor shaking, and I was like, damn, like,
like surreal.
Like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you can, like, because people didn't really have picture phones, and, like, people had cameras, you can hear the, like, it was, like, nuts.
Yeah.
It was, like, really nuts. I mean, that's not one of the moments where I felt like it was like, oh, my God, this is real. But it was one of them so real moments, though. You know what I mean? Like, it was really crazy.
That sounds like a moment that I would probably, me personally, if I had that moment, I would chase that for the rest of my life. Because
it's like people don't understand, like, fame is probably one of the biggest things.
Oh, yeah.
Fame is absolutely. It's like, it's nothing like going on stage, and it's one thing to do a show.
Yeah.
And you're in front of, 1,200, 2,000 people, and they don't really know you, and they're just kind of rocking with you because you're there. It's another thing when you're opening for a concert and it's 5,000 people, 10,000, whatever. Yeah. And if they know you, if they don't know you, they're just going freaking
they're ready
crazy.
To party.
They're just you just like, what the hell is this? It's a different feeling. Yeah. Because the love is different. And the love is different.
And they embrace
the women was different.
They embrace it. Okay. You want to talk about that?
We can talk about that.
Okay. How was the women on tour?
Amazing. Amazing. Shout out to all y'all. First of all, I want to say this. Tour is really like, first of all, you're going to meet wild women on tour. There's no denying that. Like, even when I was like, I remember talking to one of my homeboys back on this side of the world, and I was telling them when I was on the West Coast, because a lot of the tour was on the West Coast. Yeah. And I remember him just like, yo, what's going on with the joints? And I'm just like, it's a lot. And he didn't understand because he's not with me, but it's like I had to break it down to him like fractions. So it's like this, and I'm gonna break it down for y'all too. So boom, you do a tour, it's about 5,000 people. And then at 5,000 people, you're going to meet about 500 women. Out of that 500 women, you're going to meet 50 that's really ready to go, that's really kind of interested. And that 50, you're going to meet about 10. 10 really you're like, this could be something. Out of that 10, there's 5 ready to go right there. Out of that 5, 2 might be ready to do it with you that night. That's the breakdown of the tour.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And that's every night.
That's every night.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know where that BlackBerry is anymore. But
I had a BlackBerry.
I remember.
How many BBMs did you get at that time?
Yo, I had so many numbers. I couldn't even get them all because at the time I had so many numbers from different area codes that I couldn't even save everybody's number at the same time.
Jesus.
I remember having my phone and another girl taking my phone, putting a number, and another girl putting her picture in my phone, and then another girl taking my phone to get her number. And it was like, I don't even know that girl's number. I don't even know that girl's name.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are. who are you taking a picture? Like, I'm trying to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Too much. It's too much.
It's just, it gets kind of crazy. Like, it was just like, the tour was crazy. It was an experience.
Yeah.
And I was young. I was 20, 21.
Living life.
I'm living a life.
I'm
just like living a fantasy world. You wake up to do what you love to do, perform. You get paid. There's alcohol everywhere. There's food you're not paying for. You come on stage, you get off stage, everything is there for you. So I got a crazy story. So when we was on tour, we did Utah. I never forget Utah. Utah is probably one of the funny stories. Big shout out to Dave Rush, you gonna know the story. So, and it's on the internet too.
Okay.
And I actually got Pitbull to look at me. He used to call me Young Diddy because I was always dancing on stage.
Yeah.
He called us the Disability Boys, believe it or not, because you got
Disability Boys.
Yeah, because I was legally blind, and then you had Rush who was on dialysis. Like, y'all all jacked up. He's like, y'all like what?
Listen to this. They blind and on dialysis, and they on tour rocking. So there's no excuse, bro. There's no excuse for anybody out there. You know what I mean?
To check this out, so we get to Utah, and I met the owner of the Utah Jazz.
That's dope.
He's like, yo, let's take some shots.
You took shots with the owner of the Jazz?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking dope.
It was him, some guy from the Kansas City Chiefs, some other models.
Executive motherfuckers, right?
Just whoever. Just anybody was back there. Because you backstage. It's like, anybody could be back there. Like, I met Barry Gordy.
You met Barry Gordy?
Yeah.
Wow.
I met Barry Gordy before. Matter of fact, I met Barry Gordy the day before Michael Jackson died, and we just left LA. When Michael Jackson died, me and Rush was in the air coming back from LA. That was the day I said I was in LA. We never really got the chance to chill.
That was that day.
That was that day.
Wow.
We was in LA. We met Barry Gordy. He came to the House of Blues. Watched, because people don't know, LMFAO is his grandchild.
You know what? I knew that.
Yeah.
I did know that.
He came to go check them out. So that's why I met him. I bumped into him. He was like, what's up? Yeah, what's up, Barry? Like regular, but it ain't regular, right?
So that's huge, bro.
So I meet him. We did a shake. He's like, yeah, you did a great job. You know, he daps us up. He's on the figure. They do their thing. Pitt was there, of course. And then we flew back. When we landed, we found out Michael Jackson was gone.
That was a big day. I remember that day.
Yeah.
That's one of those days, like, do you remember where you were when?
I really do. Yeah. I remember that whole day because it was like,
yeah, that was such a
I just met Barry Gordy. What are you talking about? Like, you know, and it was, but boom. So now, boom, right? Back in Utah, taking shots. Before I knew it, I'm lit.
Yeah.
I'm lit. I got the Utah Jazz owner's coat on. I got a suit jacket on, right? I'm lit.
How the fuck did that happen?
I don't even know. I don't remember. Right? And I had a thing where I was like, I used to wear like jewelry, like, I'm outside, I got all my jewelry on, so I was like, take my shirt off. I was just wild, right? So we had to leave. We couldn't stay in Utah. This was one of them days, like, we didn't even really stay in a hotel. We had to leave and go to Arizona.
Jesus.
Utah was like 32 degrees. We got to Arizona, it was like 108, dry heat.
Yeah,
like, it's just so crazy. So we're outside, we about to leave. Rush is like, we gotta pack our bags. When we get to the hotel, pack your bags, we out. He was on some military time, like, we out. Cause that's how he be when he on, so he just real focused.
He's mad organized.
Yeah.
Very organized.
Yeah, that's
probably punctual, doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, whatever, rushing outside. I'm like, I've always been a wild child, right? So I'm like, man, I'm outside. I don't care. I'm out here taking a drink, shots. I'm doing this. I got some guy's coat on. I don't care.
You were the Utah Jazz owner.
I got his jacket on. I got a suit jacket. You know, my arms is big. It's like, it's drooping over here. I'm just all over the place, right? So we get back to the hotel, and it hits me. The liquor's like, wow.
Welcome.
Hello. Welcome to Utah.
Hello.
Right?
Welcome to Utah.
I go up the steps, and the steps started going like this. Like, they just started like... What was that movie, when he was on the steps? I think it was The Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
You ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Remember when he took that lube thing.
Yeah, he was
and
like
he was on the
calling.
phone and he was like trying to get to his car.
Yeah. That's a great acting, by the way. That's one of the best scenes I've ever seen in my life.
I went through that. I've experienced that. So I'm going.
He was like, "That's my cerebral palsy face."
Yes.
Yeah.
I hit the floor.
Jesus.
Now my vision is already crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm
so
seeing,
you're just all over the
I'm
place.
seeing like how a fly looks at a person. I'm looking at
different. You see me 30 different places.
Yo, I'm like, my phone's really here. I'm like this. I'm trying to like dial my tongue. Like,
oh
my arms
God,
not working.
You was trash.
I'm trashed.
Oh, you did some drugs. Yeah, that owner gave you some drugs.
I don't know what. I mean, ain't gonna say that. I'm just saying I was real. I'm real. So at the time I was talking to somebody, so I said, I need you to call Rush.
I need help.
I need help. I'm on the floor. I can't move. So Rush comes out of his hotel room. Before he gets me off the floor, he takes a picture because Rush likes to document it. So he's like, oh, this is great. Click, click. Like, I'm like, come on, get me off the floor.
That's store life, though.
The store life. Gets me off the floor. Goes to the hotel room. Throw up. Wow. While I'm throwing up, though, I'm talking shit. Yeah, nigga, we on tour. Blah. Y'all ain't doing it like y'all ain't doing it like DR. So, because I was always, everybody has their phone out. This is when you can kind of record and
yeah.
So I'm talking crazy. So then I had this famous line. I said, man, I'm outside. I'm gonna pull up on y'all niggas, man. I'm gonna pull up on y'all. So I said, I'm gonna pull up, and it was a shower curtain and it broke.
Jesus.
I fall in the tub.
He was rock starring it up.
Yeah, I was rock starring it up.
He was a rock star, bro.
And then we left. We left the hotel. Like,
trash.
I was like, yo, we got it. We can't.
We left the hotel trashed.
Went there, got into the van, went to Arizona, sweated all of the lookout. Yeah. It was like 108 degrees. Greatest time of my life.
That's awesome.
The tour was awesome. If you've never done it, do it.
I'm trying to get there. I did like local tours, you know what I mean? But
it was an experience. It was just like, I remember some woman try to like give me her daughter to marry her off. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
What I do want to get into is because you've had so many like great chapters in your journey. Another chapter that you had was the MTV chapter, which I want to get into.
Yeah.
But I want to get into the Justina Valentine relationship before we dive into that, because it goes to show you that the relationships you build early on, as long as you cherish them and you treat them with respect and you do what you're supposed to do as a person, you treat people right, good things could come back to you. And that's pretty much a prime example of the Justina Valentine relationship, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned her earlier today. You said you met her around the same time as like Lazy K and all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You met her in a cypher.
I actually met her before I met Lazy K, believe it or not. I met Justina in 05.
Because I remember the Justina that I remember was a King. Was a King? She was King Radio, right?
No, I think she was at Montclair State.
Well, it was one of them colleges.
She was at Montclair State.
She had like a radio show.
Mm-hmm. It was Montclair State.
Yeah, and she was pretty popular in MySpace days.
Yeah, she was.
I remember being on the charts on MySpace with her. Like, you know how MySpace had the charts? Yeah, so it was like a big thing.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, I forgot all about that.
That was a big part of my life. That part, because that's when I learned automation, and that's when I got into marketing and all that stuff. But that's a whole other animal. Yeah. But MySpace used to have these hip hop charts, and whatever genre of music you're in, they'll have a top 100 for the state. They did. And you were always on it. You were always on it. I was on it. KM was on it.
Rush was killing.
Rush was always there. Fo Nassus. Remember him?
Yeah.
He was there.
I did a record with Fo.
I know. Shout out to Fo Nassus.
Shout out to Fo. Make it work.
There was
DJ 4B. Big shout out to you too.
There was a lot of cool shit going on at the time. But I remember Justina Valentine was buzzing. She was buzzing heavy. And it was just some groundwork that she was putting in. Like, and this girl's, I don't know where she's from. I don't know her personally, but I've rubbed shoulders with her a few times. You know what I mean?
She's Jersey bred.
But let's talk about that relationship and how that all came full circle for you in this one time.
Well, here's the thing. So I met Justin like 2005, right? So I met her in the cypher, and it was the EO Dub days. And she was battling. she had this flow. Like, everybody was like, who is this chick?
Yeah.
Just coming real rough. Black hair at the time.
Yeah.
She had Timberland boots with the army pants.
Oh, she was thug.
She was bugged out, right?
Yeah.
And but she could just rhyme. Like you got lost in her rhymes. So she's doing her thing. And through the years, like she always was like, she loved my beatboxing. She always told me that. She said that on the radio show. She said that, and like different things. Like she's like, boy, he's like one of the best, you know. And she admit that, like, right. So she always liked when I beatbox. So anytime like she had a show, like once she started like coming out, as far as with the red hair, when the hair
becoming,
we was already cool. We already had our relationship. So I remember one time she came and did a freestyle when I was living in like Secaucus. Like she was like, I got something going on. I can't really let you know. This is before she got on MTV.
Yeah. She
did a freestyle and I beatbox for her. It's like in my archives. I got a whole bunch of stuff on there. So she beatbox, I beatbox, she freestyle. And then like it was crazy because anytime she had a show, I just happened to be at the show. And when she saw me at the show, she was like,
come here.
Come on stage. And then she do like a segment in her show, she freestyle. So if I was there, she had me beatbox. So I don't know how all this other stuff came along, but she's on MTV now.
Yeah.
Doing the thing. Like she's killing it. Now she's on Wildin' Out. She's on Wildin' Out. So one day, I see her doing a show locally in Jersey. I'm just happen to be there. She has me beatbox. She does her thing, whatever. I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Right? So I was supposed to do like a non-profit event, right? She gives me a call one day. She's like, yo, what are you doing Monday? And I'm like, oh, I got a charity event to do, blah, blah, blah. She was like, no, you don't. What? Yeah, I do. She's like, no, you don't. You're going to shoot this pilot for MTV. So I called the people at the charity event. I was like, yo, I can't do it. It's over. Click! I just hung up on them.
Yeah.
I call her back. I'm like, what time I got to be there? She has this like private limo thing, pick me up, take me to MTV, we shoot this pilot, and then she was like, if this pop off, you know, we'll be shooting the show. And we shot the pilot, no rehearsal, no nothing. Straight raw talent. I remember standing in the middle of Times Square, they put an MTV mic in my hand, and they said, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. And we were just live. I'm talking about there's like 8 cameras on us. We're in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, everywhere. What the heck? And I just got to get into this character. Boom, of course, that switch goes off.
That switch I was telling you about?
The switch goes, I tap right in. We do the pilot. Before you know it, Your Life in Rhyme. Did over like 6 million, something crazy.
Yeah. How long did that last? That was a little bit of time.
It was short-lived. It was short-lived. It was still a great experience.
Oh no, but it was. I feel like that was.
It was really big because it was just like one day you just saw me regular, and then the next thing you just saw me in the middle of Times Square with an MTV mic, and everybody was like, "That's not a prop. That's
a big deal, bro. That's a big deal. That's a statement."
Yeah, it was just like. And then I took the picture with Justina in the middle of Times Square with the MTV mics, and everybody already knew she's already part of Wildin' Out. So then it was like, oh,
it's over.
It's on. Then it was like it went from Roy to like MTV Roy.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. How fast did your following grow?
Crazy.
From that appearance?
Crazy fast.
That first one?
Crazy. Because after
when you woke up the next day, how many
once the contract hit, and like when we did the first episode, right?
Yeah.
It just wasn't on Justina's page.
Yeah.
It just was. It was on the main MTV page, and it was on the Wildin' Out Instagram page. So
all them people came flocking,
and Wildin' Out was. It still is. But at that time, it was just
budding. It was
just like everybody was just really, really. It was still fresh. Wildin' Out was still like real fresh. So And people was really loving Justina because she was the freestyle queen. That's when they named her the freestyle queen and all that. So because of all of that attention she was getting, I followed her. It went from like, I think it had 7,000 followers. It jumped up like 10,000 followers in like 3 days.
Wow.
Maybe less than that. I don't know. It was just like, I was just getting followers like crazy. I didn't even know who these people was. It was just,
and now
then people was like, oh, I think I seen you somewhere. And it was just like, then I started growing my hair. I had a flat top. I just changed my whole look.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's another chapter of success in your story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that whole MTV thing was also real. I loved it. And I think, it probably would have lasted longer if, like Corona and certain things didn't happen. But
yeah.
I still to this day, I'm grateful. I'm always like, when people ask me about that experience, I always say, I was on MTV. Can't nobody take that from me.
Oh, no.
Nobody could be like, that's a chapter that I did that. I could be like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, it's like, yeah, I did
your
that.
Content is out
and
there.
I didn't even, and I did it, I had success as an artist, being on tour and having that, but to be a beatboxer,
yeah,
and get on MTV was like, it was a different type of accomplishment. It was like, I did that beatboxing. I didn't do that. It was the thing that everybody really knew me for anyway, outside of being an artist.
Yeah.
But beatboxing always been something that's always been a part of my shows, always been a part of my...
It's part of you. That's who you are.
So like, to be on MTV and people saw the beatboxing, it just, everybody was lost after that.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, okay.
The one thing I want to say about D-Roy is that, beatboxing is part of the culture. That's up there with the elements, That should be an element in itself, honestly, when you talk about hip-hop culture. But he also can make music with the times. He doesn't get stuck in a certain era.
Yeah.
He adapts to it. You know what I mean? And I've seen it. I've witnessed it. So one thing I could tell you is where you really impressed me was not too long ago. It was Lady Key's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was right here in this building.
Yeah.
And you performed. So this is the shit he did was so fly, bro. Like, I'm telling you, you got up there like he always does. He started off his set with the beatbox, got the crowd engaged, everybody's having a good time, and then you hit him with that fucking song, bro. This is how we do it. Yeah. Oh my God, yo. You brought it back to the 90s so hard there. And I was like, this motherfucker D-Roy just does, yo, he never stops being fired. Like, I'm telling you, everything this man does is fire. Not to mention, like, we just dropped a single Friday. We got a joint out right now, Moments for Life. Long time coming.
Check that out.
Long time coming.
And that's so crazy. Somebody asked me, it was like, y'all know each other for long. How many joints y'all got? I said, it's so funny. I was like, this is really our first real record.
Yeah, I think we might have tried something in the past with KM. I feel like we did.
Maybe I don't think I was on it. I believe if I did something for y'all back then, I probably made the beat.
I feel like I
made the beat, but I don't think I was personally on it.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's so crazy because, let me tell y'all, people out there, known Crillz for a very long time. And it's like, sometimes in this music industry, you would know a person a very long time. Y'all can have a great relationship, but y'all just never get a chance to just make that magic in the booth and just make that record. And it's not because you don't want to. It's just sometimes it just like
didn't happen.
It just didn't happen. It just kind of lined up. Like even the way that record came about with us was like, I really wasn't supposed to even be on that.
No, you wasn't, because you walked in on a session.
I kind of walked in on a session. Just kind of like, oh, this is dope. Like, the beat was dope. And I just kind of like, I had an idea.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, let's just see. You was kind of like, let's see if this can work.
What I saw was an opportunity because this session was special. That was a special session. Mm-hmm. We had a good time that day.
Yeah.
There was 5 or 6 of us in there. And I walked into that session. I booked it. I had Block there. I said, Block, just be here. I want to play this beat. I want to create on the spot. I didn't have nothing to record that day, but I booked the session to record.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to just go in there and catch a vibe and see what I could do. So I go in there and I had this beat.
Here in the history, y'all.
I had this beat already. I wrote the verse and I had a hook. Yeah. If you were to hear the hook that I had for this song... compared to what it turned out to be.
Moments for Life?
No, so I laid my verse down, and I was like, you know what? Ham's here. Ham, get on this joint. Let me see what you could do. Ham started feeling it. I was
Yeah.
like, and Ham, you know how Ham goes. Ham's doing his.
He started going into a trance.
Harmonizing. You don't really know what he's. It's like he's in a trance.
Yeah.
And he starts harmonizing, and then it comes out fire. He lays the hook down. Then comes D-Roy. He walks in the building. He's with you, Kadeem, and we chilling. And I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to get D-Roy in here. He's in this spot right now. We got the time. We got the engineer. Yeah, I said, D-Roy, can you jump on this? He goes, yeah, I can do something for this. He knocks it out the park. You know what I mean? And
History.
Then knocks it out the park. And then by the end of the session, we all singing because they be beefing with they bitches. All that. He had the line of the song, bro. So he killed it. Closed it out perfectly. But the producer was in the building. The DJ was in the building. The 3 artists was in the building. And Block was in the building. It was all of us in that room.
Yeah, that was special.
It was special. And I know that this song is special. But with that, we're going to take a real quick break. We're going to be right back. You already know.
I need to let you know the way you move is unconventional. The way I feel is unintentional, but you make falling in love so regretful. As time passes, we stick to the same distractions. It's like 2 worlds collide and they sleep on the
All right, so when we left off, we were talking about the single that we just released, Moments for Life, DJ Flyboy Ant, featuring myself, D-Roy, and Rockstar Han, produced by Izzo the Great. That's just the tip of the iceberg right there, but there's still so much more we got to dive into. As far as like the way our lives intertwined throughout this journey, for this 20 years, we was heavy in the clubs. Yeah. A lot of party promoting, a lot of putting together parties and shows and a bunch of stuff like that. There was a time in recent history where we was both doing parties at Z-Bar. You had Thursday night, I had Friday in Perth Amboy, and the shit was just movie every week. Thursday, Friday, lit.
It was like nonstop. I got it.
So let's talk about the promo game, how you got into that.
Yeah, so how I got into the promo game was this. We came off tour. I'm on this crazy high because I'm like, I just
got off tour, bro.
Came off tour. So
I'm on crazy high. I just got off tour, man.
I just like, so I gotta like keep myself entertained because I'm like, damn, I was on tour. Yeah. And what? I can't go back to a job. And like this time we had a break, and Rush had he was getting a new kidney and different things like that. So he was just like, give it a little bit of time. We're gonna go back on tour. So y'all gotta figure it out, right? Yeah. So figuring it out. So I was like, well, I'm not going back to a job. I know how to hustle. And at the time, there was a strip club there, a gentleman's club, and it was called Liquid Assets.
Liquid Assets was in Plainfield?
South Plainfield. And I knew the owner because we did a show before we went on tour for real. The last show, or 2 shows we did before we really was out of here, was his spot. And he told me, if you ever come back, you can do whatever you want. But he was really preferring to like performing. I had a different vision in mind. Yeah. And I was like, I want to do a night. He was like, you want to do a night? Yeah. I said, yeah, I want to do a night. I said, but I don't want a Thursday. I don't want a Friday. I said, I want you to give me a Tuesday. I wanted the wackest night. And I said, I want to put all my people in here. And I said, but if I do that night, I want to be able to have control of what I could do. So he was like, well, Tuesday's dead. You got it. Yeah. Of course, I did a showcase because I know hella artists, right? Yeah. And then I got my man, DJ Dutchie in there.
Shout out to Dutchie. He's been grinding for a long time, too.
You know what I'm saying? So I brought all my people in there, and we turned it out. Now, remind you, when we first started there, we had the ugliest 3 chicks, and I had to make them look like something. Like, hey, it was busted.
So for y'all that don't know, Liquid Assets was a strip club.
Yeah. So I remember there was one girl, I had to put 4 different wigs on her to make her look like 4 different people.
Jesus Christ. Jesus. He said we had the ugliest bitches.
The ugliest. And we did.
I didn't go to liquid assets because that wasn't really my wave at the time.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. I'm gonna use it.
And I'm not a strip club dude. I don't really fuck with
Check this out, y'all. And if the people that know, they know the story. So I remember having this place packed full of my
Only
homies.
3 bitches in there?
Only 3.
Jesus, how'd that night go?
Great. Because they thought that one chick was 4 different shorties.
So she was wearing a different wig every time? Oh my God.
With a different outfit. Or she changed the top and keep the bottom.
Different wig.
Yeah.
Jesus. So one girl, she was worried. She made bread then.
She made bread. And big shout out to her. And look, she went back, and because she made the money she made on the slowest night, the real bad joints was like, if she could do it, oh hell no.
Oh, we there.
I'm inside. I'm outside. Wherever his joints is, I'm going to his events. So it got my name out with like, you know,
all the dancers.
All the dancers was like, yo, some dude.
Leroy,
he's making ugly girls get bread. I need to get bread. This is nuts. There's no way she.
So how long did it last before the baddies started coming in? A week?
No, it took 2 months.
2 months?
Honestly, it took 2 months, and I really.
But you built that party.
Built it.
Now let me ask you: was that a weekly party?
Yeah. But the thing was, I was studying the club, so I would be there every day. And then I had like an insight. I was talking to a girl who was a bartender, so I was getting all the insights with everything, and then I was figuring out the drinks, and I was figuring out, and then so what happened is, because I was there every day, then I bumped into a guy who got me into how to sell bottles, and that's how I got into like sponsorship. And so then I started.
So break that down.
So what happened was, it was an event at Liquid Assets, and there was a guy who came in, and he was there for a couple hours, and he was just like, you know, I make money off just bringing bottles in. I was like, you make money off bringing bottles in? He was like, yeah, I know this guy, and he has a spot Piscataway, and I can get wholesale bottles. And I was like, wholesale bottles? What is that? And at the time, I was figuring out different ways to bring people into the club. So I was always trying to figure out how I can get the most expensive bottle for the cheapest price and how to flip it.
Yeah.
Right? So then he showed me a little blueprint of how to do it. I met the guy and I took off.
Yeah.
Before I knew it, I had Moscato, I had my Killer, I had Silver Coin Tequila.
Yeah.
Like, this is before Ciroc Boy, this is before Bel Air.
Black bottles.
Before all of that.
Yeah.
There was no such thing.
We were probably drinking Grey Goose at the time.
There was no such thing as flipping a bottle. Nobody knew what that was.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what it was to have a $100 bottle of Ciroc. Nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I used to do something called Ciroc Thursdays once everything started picking up. But yeah, we used to have all the drinks come out for us, and then what started happening was people already knew me as a wild type of brand a little bit. So then, like, now I'm coming to clubs, but now I'm coming out with the dancers.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew, because they would be in plain clothes.
Yeah.
But they would go wild when they in VIP. So then people was like, where's Roy getting, like, what's going on in his life?
Yeah.
Right? You know? So that was just a wild time. So from that club, I learned everything I needed to know. How to
back end.
On the back end.
Yeah.
So then from that, I took all of that knowledge, knowing how to gather models, knowing how to
put together parties.
But the main thing was to know how to get sponsorship. That's why even when we went to Z-Bar, I had the Ciroc boys.
Yeah.
But they was already my cousins. They was from Philly.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I brought them because they already knew I knew how to move. It got so crazy when I was with Moscato. Shout out to Caposado Moscato.
It's a wine too.
Yeah. I was the first one. I brought them to Dusk in Atlantic City. And Dusk brought 36 cases of Moscato.
Yeah.
36 cases, 8 bottles coming in a case.
Did you ate off of that, right?
Of course.
Okay.
I was making residual income every 2 weeks, not just from them, but
other bars and.
So
you was basically a liquor salesman.
I had, and it was so crazy. This is like nuts. I'm telling you, it was so crazy. I had them, and I had another company, and it got so bad that they was sending liquor to my house.
Jesus.
I had cases of everything in my house. I had vodka in my life. So like, ask Rockstar. He used to come to my house and just see bottles. I used to have boxes. Like lined up, if I was like the dispensary, in my house.
Jesus,
I used to just give away bottles. It got so bad. It got so bad that I remember somebody came and saying their name, but somebody was like, "I need some money," and I was like, and I gave him a case of liquor. I was like, "You shouldn't do this, bro."
Yeah,
like it was like he was like, "Can I sell this?" I was like, "You can't." But you know what I'm saying? Like
that's nuts.
Yeah, I had cases. They used to send me stuff from like New Mexico.
Just trying out new shit all the time.
Yeah, I had around that time, I was about 25. I had about 8 sponsors.
Jesus Christ. That's
liquor
crazy.
Sponsors. I even had some guy who gave me roll up.
Weed sponsors too? At that time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Coming from Denver, because one of the connects I met in Colorado, my homegirl, big shout out to Stephanie, always holding me down. She always gave me sponsorships.
Yeah.
And she always was like, D-Roy, we need to move the new brand. So I had people trying to send me sunglasses. I had people trying to send me sandals. I had people trying to send me whatever you could think of, bro. Like, they was just, I used to get mad stuff coming in the mail all the time. I used to turn stuff down. I used to just give stuff away to people because I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It was a time when I was doing Gnarly Nation and putting that together. It was around that time. And because,
so let's get into Gnarly Nation. I mean, you guys haven't seen here. We got the merch on the table. We got the hats. You got the T-shirt. You know, there's a bunch of stuff going on with Gnarly Nation. Gnarly Nation been around for a while. He's been pushing this brand for a long time.
Yeah. 2011.
Definitely some fly shit. You know what I mean? You always been on that cool shit. You always been cool.
Thank you.
You're always cool as hell. You know what I mean? So let's talk about Gnarly Nation. What that is and how that came about.
So Gnarly Nation is really an acronym.
Okay.
Gnarly Nation means New Age Rockstar Living Life Young.
Okay. I didn't see that one coming.
So
I'm just thinking gnarly, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a little bit of that, but it was more like I always felt like a rock star, and I felt like we the new age, and we living our life young, like young rock stars. And so coming from that pop, living that life, and coming into my own, kind of getting away from the branch of Rush and really becoming D-Roy the artist and D-Roy the brand.
Yeah.
And like kind of separating myself from that so people could know, like, oh no, that's raw.
So gnarly was the way to do it, right?
Gnarly was the way I did it.
Okay.
And so then, you know, I got my artists like Retro, I had Lachi, my boy EQ at the time. And then like other people came in, Kilo G's, DJ Status, like it was a bunch of people.
Yo, shout out to them brothers right there. Them two right there, I love them dearly, man. I got so much love for DJ Status and Kilo G, bro.
Yeah, man.
Like those are my bros right there. Matter of fact, I need them both on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yo, if it wasn't for
Status is still my DJ.
Yo, Status to me, I'm gonna tell you right now, Status to me is one of the best DJs I ever heard in my life, bro. And that's facts, bro.
Word.
He rock parties. Yo, because look, I'm going to be real. This is a story from Z-Bar.
Wow.
He used to rock Thursday nights with you.
Yeah.
And I used to go, and I used to be in there Thursday nights. We'd be lit. And the Status is just rocking.
Going nuts.
You know what I mean? I got my DJs too. Don't get it fucked up.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, I gotta get this motherfucker on Fridays with me, bro, because he's just so ill, yo. So I would make sure I always had it. Like whether he was the opener or the closer, it didn't matter. I just wanted to have him in the building. So any opportunity that I could get Status in, I would have got Status in. You know what I mean? Status is my dude. And he's still moving. I see you. I see you. He's doing
back outside.
Yeah,
heavy now.
I see. He's up north heavy. He's in Jersey City and stuff like that. So Status, I need you on. You know what? I'm getting Status on here. Kilo G's, you come in, and that's gonna be a whole popping ass episode right there. But That's family right there. I love them boys, yo.
It's like Gnarly. So Gnarly started like with a couple of us, and then it just grew.
Yeah.
Right? Really, Gnarly happened because I did a song with Ravenous Prime.
Shout out to Rav. Oh, man. The Rick's Tours. Remember the Rick's? Oh, Rav.
So I
Shout out to Rav. He's doing good right now, too.
I did a record with Rav, and in the song, I was like, Gnarly Gang, Gnarly Nation, that's my gang. And I didn't have no gang. I didn't have no crew. I didn't know nobody.
Just talking that shit.
I just talking shit. It just felt good. I said it, and then I thought about it and said, that's it.
Gnarly Nation.
Gnarly Nation. And then
it's got a nice ring to it.
You know what I'm saying?
It rolls off the tongue nicely. You know what I mean?
And so the first thing I do, what I do with anything, is I make a logo immediately.
Yeah.
I made merch, and this is not even real yet. This is just me.
Idea.
I'm just making merch.
Yeah.
I made a logo, so my man make me a logo. He makes me a logo.
Yeah.
Then I say, yo, I need a Gnarly. I make Gnarly. And it wasn't this logo, it was a different logo at the time. So, makes me the merch. And like, it was kind of like, I was writing stuff down, and it's like almost like I manifested it, and then like, people just started showing up.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, it went from like, all right, let me make this beat for my boy, and then I throw another guy like Lachi, Retro, and they don't even know each other.
Lachi. I know Lachi.
Yeah, you probably know this.
What's his
Ty
Jack. Yeah.
He didn't even know it. Like these people didn't even know
Shout out
each other.
Lachi.
Yeah, they don't even know each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not even letting them know they on the same track. I'm just kind of
pulling strings in the background.
I'm just like, yo, I need a verse. But they come in at different times. So like, let's say Lachi came in at 7, Retro coming at 7:30, EQ coming at 8. They're not even meeting each other.
They're not even interacting.
They hop on the same track, and then when they hear the track, they're like, yo, who this? Oh, you got it now?
Who's A&R in the shit?
I was really like, yeah. That Dr. Drain it, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But I put all them together, and then they realized it was, and then it became a family.
Yeah.
Then it became Gnarly Girls, Gnarly this. Before I knew it, we was coming to the clubs. It was like we was coming out 30, 40 deep. It was
easy.
It was easy. It was getting ridiculous.
Y'all Thursdays was stupid.
Yeah, it's like
stupid.
It got crazy. Everywhere I went, it was just like,
yo, heavy.
It was really crazy. We was pulling up in Suburbans.
Heavy.
Yeah.
There was one time. There's a story I got about you. This is a story when I realized D-Roy's a different breed. This is when I realized he was a different breed. It was at Z-Bar.
Yeah.
It was probably like a Wednesday night. It wasn't a night that we had a party, but I was always in there. And you come walking around the corner. You was living by me at the time.
Yeah.
And we was in you know where we was at.
Yeah.
And you came up to the bar. You walked up. You had the sunglasses on. You was fresh as hell. You looked at me. You was like, "Yo, Crillz, I ain't slept in like 3 days." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I just been outside, yo." I was like, "What you been doing, bro?" He's like, "I just been moving." I'm like, "You go home? What are you doing?" He's like, "Nah." He came in the bar. We got lit a little bit. I was like, D-Roy different, bro. He came. I don't know what the hell you had going on that day, but you just walked around the corner, and that's like the first thing that came out your mouth. And I was like, "What?" He was like, "I ain't slept in like 3 days." I was like, "What? What are you
Why?
What's going on in your life, bro?" He was like,
"A lot."
Those were crazy times, bro.
Those was some crazy times. Like, yo, it's.
That's you. I know you know what I'm talking about too.
Yo,
you was just outside,
at that time.
You was shooting videos and
I was
all
just
types
doing
of
a lot of
shit.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was another battery in my back. So at that time, to give you a quick summary of that story, at that time it was like my father got murdered. At that time, so
it was.
It
was right when it happened.
So at that time, when my father got murdered, I got the call he got murdered. I made a beat.
You went crazy.
I made a beat.
Yeah.
I made a beat. That day,
he
died. I recorded the record the next day.
Yeah.
After he died. I shot the video So let's say I found out on a Monday. By Thursday, I was shooting the video.
Jesus. That's the battery.
I shot the video same week. We buried my father the next week. We had the funeral.
Yeah.
We showed the video at the funeral.
That's how fast you did that.
Yeah.
That's why you wasn't sleeping.
I wasn't like I was in go mode. I was just making
records. Now that you say that, I remember that's why. I remember that was why. Because I remember
All
right, so before the camera went out, we were talking about the 3 days that you was
I ain't get no sleep.
You ain't getting no sleep and shit was a little hectic.
It was a little hectic. Yeah.
So break down that situation.
So basically, at that time, father passed away, and so the first day, I got the call. When I got the call, I made the beat that day.
Yeah.
After I made the beat, the next day, I wrote the song and recorded the song. And then after that, I shot the video. Like on
so you
Thursday.
did all that content creation before the actual...
Yeah, the funeral was like the next week.
And you finished a song, you wrote the song.
Yeah, I produced the song.
You made the beat, wrote the song.
Recorded the song.
Shot the video.
Shot the video.
All this
was like in the...
While grieving.
Yeah.
But that was your form of...
That was my form of grieving. Because that was like the...
Did that help?
It did. It was therapy. Because I didn't know how to express it. It was like, what else was I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
And it was because it was so much in the way my father passed away. Because he didn't just pass away. He got murdered. So, you know, let's call it what it is. Like, let's call it spade a spade. So, like, he got murdered. So, like, that was my way of dealing with his murder. And so it was like my way of letting him live on for me.
Yeah.
And my way of burying him. So that's why I made the record, did the video, and, you know, put it out all the same day. So I ain't get no sleep.
As a fan, me personally, as a fan of like reality rap, I guess you could say emotional shit like that. Like I love when people pour their heart out and really wear their heart on their sleeve and they make that kind of music.
Wow.
How did that resonate with the people that followed you?
It brought them into a whole other world with me because it was like everybody knew me for partying. Talking, good times, talking that good shit. But like, when this happened in my life, it made people go like, "Oh, not only is he real,
you showed your human side.
But he can go deep. Like he can really tap in in a different way, and it made people really respect me as an artist. Even older people. Like I remember it was a lot of like, I remember I was getting calls from like pastors. Like some of my older uncles and aunts, and they was just like, you know, I heard your music, and I always thought it was pretty good, but shit, they was like, this is amazing. Like that's when I really got real respect from like
elders.
Elders and even younger.
Just
like,
respected
just
people.
Respected. Yeah, they just respected it. It was just like you tapped in and you made like I had people even say like, you know, you made me call my father. Like, I didn't even want to talk to my father. I haven't talked to my father in 10 years, and because you did this record, it made me talk to my father and different things like that. So it was different.
I love shit like that.
Yeah, it was really different.
I try to stay, me personally, I try to stay in that lane because I feel like if you wear your heart on your sleeve and you show who you are, there's not really much they can try to dissect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I don't really, like, I do it when it happens to me. When it happens to me, I give it to you. When it's not happening, I'm giving you the bullshit.
We get into a whole nother bag still.
I'm giving you the gnarly.
I'm giving you the gnarly. So speaking of the gnarly, let's get into the gnarly nation. I see we got the merch here. I called dibs on this one, the blue and white one. That's mine. You know what I mean? But you got the hats here, you got the shirt, you got, you know what I mean? Gnarly Nation merch. Let's get into Gnarly Nation, man.
Yeah, so Gnarly Nation is it's an acronym.
Okay.
New Age Rock Star Living Life Young is what it really means.
And I told you I didn't know that was an acronym. I was just thinking,
like
everybody gnarly dude.
Like it's really when I came off tour, I had this whole rock star attitude, and I wanted to be like I'm gnarly, and I like the gnarly what it sounds like, but I cut the G off it, and I kept the N, the A, the R, and I put 2 L's in it, and I put a Y, and that's what turned into Gnarly. Really, Gnarly was really just something I made up.
Okay.
It was a song I did with Ravenous Prime. I was talking like I was on Gnarly Nation, da 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 da.
Shout out to Rav.
Shout out to Rav. And, you know, before I knew it, I was making merch. Before it came out, I was making a logo. It wasn't this logo, by the way. This is new logo. So, you know, for the people that had the original one, shout out to you. And I was like, yo, I'm going to start this Gnarly Nation thing. And before I knew it, like all these people started coming into like my world, like Retro, Lachi, like, and I was orchestrating this crew that I didn't know I was orchestrating. Like I had people coming in and getting people on different records with each other that didn't even know each other, and it was just everything started popping off. Before I knew it, we started me, Retro, EQ.
Shout out to Squad. There you go.
You know, DJ Status, Kilo G's, people that came in later on, Crillz, all these people that came in, Young Preezy, you don't know Young Preezy, but Young Preezy, Young Preezy came from down south. She actually moved to Jersey from Florida just to be a part of all this.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't know, there was a movie called Birds of a Feather.
I think I remember this when you were promoting this a little bit.
Birds of a Feather was Zaytoven's movie.
The producer?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were supposed to be in that movie.
Were you promoting this at one point?
Because
I know that name.
Like, of course, everybody knows Zaytoven, but
but I'm talking about the Birds of a Feather.
Birds of a Feather is a big one.
Aside from
it was a movie that came in Atlanta, and the guy that shot it, when Gnarly Nation first came out, we had a song called Money Thrower. Money Thrower made it all the way to Atlanta.
Okay.
And so they wanted Gnarly Nation a part of that. And so like I was happy about Gnarly Nation. It went from like a couple guys to like 40 people. Well,
shout out to Gnarly Nation. I got to shout out to the homie Status and Kilo G.
Dream.
We talked. You know, we talked off record before. You know, Status is my little. That's the homie right there. You know, and I'm glad to see he's still doing his thing. Like any opportunity that I could ever give him, I would. You know, I had to. You know, I think we got into it before when we were doing the Z-Bar stuff and how you had Status on Thursdays, and I used to go kicking on Thursday. Matter of fact, I got a crazy story about a Thursday night that happened at your spot. I got a crazy story about that. But anyway, Status was on Thursday. He was so popping that I was like, yo, I gotta get this kid on my Fridays because I know they would love him. You know what I mean? And they did, and I would get him in whenever, whether he opens or closes, it doesn't matter. Status will come through and rock that shit.
Status, it's out here, you making the move, baby.
Yeah, Kilo G, that's his brother, that's my man. That's love time over there. But one time, matter of fact, I didn't tell you this before, but one time I went to one of your parties. It was a Thursday night party. It was you and Ham, we were throwing the parties, and I got lit. But Z-Bar, you know, we was there, so it was free drinks for us. We wasn't paying shit. So I had a bottle. Me and Flyboy, we was there chilling. I drank a whole bottle of Henny in there. Like, it was nobody's business. Straight. No chasers, nothing. Me and him. To the neck, right? I get out of there. I'm trashed. I'm driving down Smith Street. You know what I mean? I get to the stop, a light by the Dunkin' Donuts and 7-Eleven over there in that new area on Smith Street. Son, I fell asleep at the light. Probably like 7.
Chicken Shack?
It's not that Dunkin' Donuts. You're talking about,
I know you're talking about.
I'm talking about going towards
by the bridge.
Yes, to Convery Boulevard. I fell asleep there. 7 light cycles changed while me sleeping there. So the light changed 7 times while I was sleeping in the car. I never put the car in park. My foot was on the brake. I was just sleeping. I wake up. It's like 30 cop cars outside. Flashing lights everywhere. You know, they waking me up. They push the cops like, hey, get up, sir. Get up. I wake up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I killed somebody or something. You know what I mean? Because I was drunk. Yeah. I was ripped out of my mind. And I walk out the car. God bless me. I swear to God. When you say, I'm so fucking blessed in Amboy, bro. I got to give a shout out to Amboy. You know what I mean? Because the cop ended up being one of my childhood friends. This motherfucker walked me out the car. He was like, yo, Crillz, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to put this out there like that.
Right.
But
shout out to you.
Shout out to you. You know who you are. It's my brother for life. I love you. He's a cop. I don't care. It's my dude. He was like, Crillz, I'm gonna park your car. Give me your sister's number, Shayna. He knows my sister.
Right.
He called her, said, come pick up your brother, take him home. Bro, my whole night could have been a different
life.
Yo, but that was a Thursday night gnarly party. Word is more.
That was a gnarly party. You know how we do it, baby. We do it big and go home.
I got saved,
if you can make it home.
I barely made it. I didn't even make it to Convery Boulevard. It was over.
If you can make it home.
It was over.
Right.
But, you know, you live and you learn. But that was one of them parties. You guys used to have parties like it was lit.
Yeah.
Lit.
Yeah.
So.
I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that.
That's a good story right there.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Like, I'm happy that I could be a part of that. Like, I'm happy that I was like, y'all don't understand. Like, I really, everybody, let me tell you something. Everybody has a different story of how they met me and where they met me at in my life. We can't get into it today, but we will get into it. But I will say, everybody in my life that met me, Gnarly Nation or not Gnarly Nation or XBMG, however they met me in life, it's always a wild story. It's never nothing like, oh yeah, I met this dude named D-Roy. I always hear like a wild story.
It's always a good time.
It's always a good time. But that's what Gnarly Nation was about.
Always a good time.
So big shout out to Gnarly Nation and all my people. You already know the apparel's out right now. You know what I'm saying? The clothing. You want to feel like a rock star. You want to feel that Gnarly Nation. You want to get involved with it. Involve me. Holla at me, man.
You already know I'm rocking this blue joint. This is me.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
got my name all over that.
And the involvement is out right now. And the 1.5.
All right. So where can we find you at?
You already know. You can find me at DROY Music on Instagram. If you're doing that Facebook thing, you know what I'm saying, you can catch me at D Royalty. And I don't know what's going on with Twitter. Maybe
whatever's going on there.
Whatever's going on over there.
Twitter, X.
DROY. What is it? DROYXB. You know what I'm saying? For you people that might be on SoundCloud, for the 20 people that's on there, you go D-Roy Music. You know what I'm saying? And get involved with the involvement, man, because you got the involvement, you got the 1.5, you got a lot of stuff going on, man. You got a lot of good records on that 1.5. I'm bringing some good energy. And I brought 17 joints to the involvement, and it's just really bringing my life
to the light.
That's what it is. In the sum up, in 17 songs.
Yeah.
And then I brought another 6 songs to just bring you back.
Just 23.
Just 23.
That's it. Just 23 joints.
2 3 songs.
But yo, my brother, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you, man.
You already know. Love you, man. This is my brother right here, man. Tons of history. You already know, man. Heart of the City podcast. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Help us with the algorithm and all that good shit. And
pick up that new song, Moments for Life. You already know it's out right now on all platforms. Your boy Roy is on it. All night.
I'm telling you, when you hear that song, that's the line that's gonna stick with you, bro. You're gonna wait for that shit. So you already know, Heart of the City podcast. We out of here.